is going through a meteoric rise that could take it as high as $1,650.00 to $2.90 by the end of 2024. Get ready for a big financial break. These claims aren't just crazy, they're based on a big event, the release of an XRP ETF. Think about BlackRock, the big financial company that made a Bitcoin ETF. That didn't do well. It has a great track record and is now applying it to XRP. BlackRock's move into XRP is a big deal because almost every ETF plan they've sent in has been accepted, but BlackRock isn't the only one making waves. Another thing has been added to the game. Grayscale has not only mentioned an XRP ETF, but they have also added XRP to their list of digital money. Now you know why XRP and Ripple Labs are becoming more important in the world of international business. Helpcoin Fang is getting ready for a great, just follow these 3 simple steps to enter the giveaway. Make sure you're ready and tuned in. To make sure you get into the giveaway, don't forget to leave a money-saving code in the comments right now. ILP's world today, BlackRock has a great track record when it comes to accepting ETFs. This is clear when you look at the numbers more closely. When BlackRock takes a stake in cryptocurrencies and Web3, it changes the way standard banks think about digital currencies in a big way. BlackRock is the best at managing assets in the world, and they've almost always been able to approve ETFs. It's important to remember that BlackRock has an amazing 99.8% approval rate for ETFs, which makes them an unbeatable force in the world of ETFs. Big banks like JP Morgan and BlackRock have not only been looking at XRP, they've also been actively buying it, according to reports like a paper that came out. It is said that these big companies have put more than 7.5% of their entire wealth into XRP. A recent well-researched story even said BlackRock might be shifting all of its attention from Bitcoin to XRP, which would mean a big change in how they spend their money. This shows that more and more people are interested in XRP, which makes a BlackRock barked XRP ETF seems more likely than ever. But now things get even more interesting. There is an XRP ETP. No one knows who made it, but the fact that it exists is a big step toward an ETF. Reports say that the XRP ETP has been launched, but it's still in the pre-release process and has no value right now. It should be made public soon, as more people are talking about the idea of releasing an XRP ETF at the same time as the ETP. This simultaneous release not only makes sense, but it also shows how quickly work is going on the ETF. To give you an idea of how fast things are moving, a Bitcoin ETF could come out just a few weeks after this one. XRP's value could go through the roof once its ETF hits the market, going up to $1,650.00. Its value could go from $0.00 to $43.00 before its ETF starts. Listen up. This isn't as crazy as it sounds. The XRP ETP is already alive, and an XRP ETP will be possible in just a few weeks. A lot of people don't know this, but Fidelity, a big name in the exchange product for XRP, has been made known by the financial world. This means that the launch of an XRP ETF is coming up quickly. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission is expected to give its approval soon. Yesterday, we even talked about a new article that came out. The news came from a report that was leaked from BlackRock and said that an XRP ETF could be coming soon. This story said that XRP was going to be filed for an ETF, which would make things even more exciting. A well-known BlackRock expert said in public that there would be a BlackRock ETF just for XRP. This was even talked about in a TTF report. At first, I wasn't sure about it, but I checked it out for myself, and it was true. Online, you can find it on the Delaware list of companies. Nothing has been the same since this new development. It shows how close we are to seeing a huge shift in the position of XRP on the market, maybe even bigger than the shifts we've seen with Bitcoin's ETF. A new study shows that BlackRock and JP Morgan have both bought more than 5 million XRP, which shows that big companies are getting into cryptocurrency. BlackRock is leading the way by holding on to a lot of XRP and also using the XRP system in their business. Most importantly, BlackRock will likely be one of the first companies to sell an XRP ETF when it goes public. BCC has almost always approved XRP ETFs. You can't say enough about how much an XRP ETF changes its value. That's why a $9,831 gold price for XRP, which may seem high at first, starts to make sense when you think about all the big things that are about to happen. It is possible for $180.00 to $1.30 quadrillion dollars to move through the XRP ledger, with the ISDA being the main driver. The BRICS countries, including Saudi Arabia, are all adding the XRP ledger to their systems, and the Republic of Palau is using it to build its own digital money from the central bank. It makes sense that the value of each XRP coin would go through the roof, since there are many of them and a lot of people want them. A lot of people are talking about this lately. Some think that my excitement about XRP is just a dream. Okay, so maybe they're right, but let me say this. I really want to accept this. I light it up and take a deep breath. It's really strong stuff. I really believe in hope. It keeps you going, especially when things are bad and you're barely hanging on. If you don't believe in hope and think it's all just wishful thinking, that's fine too. Help each other out. That's what I tell myself. We're not about dropping pieces. Anything less feels like falling into a void. So we're here to keep things calm. And since we're talking about good things, I love how interesting the talks are and how challenging everyone's views are. It makes your mind work really hard. Someone made a good point about organizations and XRP. They don't have to buy it. You could also rent it. That's an interesting thought, isn't it? I was thinking about what would happen if only regular people bought XRP. I looked into it more and even asked ChatGPT how many transactions happen every day on the SWIFT system. The answer was over $7 trillion, 0 cents, which only includes foreign trade and doesn't include the quadrillion-dollar derivatives market, contracts that don't grant tokens. Finally, let's think about how XRP could be used in all of these areas. Let's start with foreign trade, which is where SWIFT works. Take that $7 trillion, 0 cents, and cut it in half. What do you believe would happen if XRP